You're looking at tornado footage of a funnel cloud that formed over in Ashland, Illinois. The video is by Seth Michaels, and this is kind of what we were concerned about. Not really seeing active weather for us in the Ozarks right now, but there's tornadoes to the west of us. There's tornadoes to the east of us. Thankfully, today managed to be a pretty quiet day. We had some rain in the morning hour. Jamie, kind of...
I mean, we threaded the needle. You know, you hear that expression. We really did thread the needle on this one, and we'll talk more about that. But, you know, Matt has more on the tornadoes and the damage from those tornadoes in Illinois today.
Here's kind of real quickly when you're saying we're threading the needle. This is what you mean, where you can see last night's severe weather. You can see confirmed tornadoes in Oklahoma. Got very close to that Missouri-Arkansas kind of line.
I mean, well, last night we were here. We were talking about it online.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a couple of confirmed tornadoes where we saw the debris signature on radar, and then they pulled the trigger on a observed tornado. Those tornado warnings.
Very quick spin-up tornadoes where we went, oh, there's some fast winds, and then they tighten up, and you see a CC drop. You see debris that's getting lofted into the atmosphere. We were concerned about that happening to our area. Never really did, but now that they've progressed further off into the east, let's go back to this tornado footage. Yeah. That is... You're seeing that really tight, that kind of skinny roping where it's forming that funnel. That was over in the Ashland area. Here's more damages of another tornado that occurred across the state line, across the Mississippi River over in Illinois. This happened over in kind of a baseball sporting complex. I was reading the script for this, and they said there were 6 baseball fields, and they had 2 employees at the time that were out working. Thankfully, none of them were harmed. Look at all that damage right there.
Look at all that insulation.
Oh, my gosh. 4 of those baseball fields, they're saying, need major repairs. You can tell why. The fences are being knocked over, the bullpens, the insulation just thrown all over the place, shingles getting tossed around. That was over in Illinois. The shed right there, about half of it got ripped off. So I imagine the National Weather Service is going to go out, and the question is not, are they going to rule this a tornado? It's kind of...
how strong?
How strong? Is this an EF1? Is this an EF2?
I'm guessing it's probably EF1, just looking at that damage.
That's definitely more than a 0. I don't think that's an EF2. So I think I would agree with you. That's an EF1 on that tornado damage. So very active pattern. And also, let me show another footage, kind of a package by Chris Higgins of tornado damage that occurred in, I want to say, Clarksville, Missouri. Now, this is kind of in between St. Louis.
Up the river, north of St. Louis,
Yep.
south of Hannibal.
South of Hannibal, north of St. Louis. He's got the package and kind of what occurred over there in his area.
Yeah, we're on the ground a few miles southwest of Clarksville and a few miles west of the Mississippi River off Highway 79. This is where the fast-developing, fast-moving, quick spin-up tornado touched down, and you can see the damage here behind me. An unusual time of day for sure, late in the morning, one of the most unusual times to see a tornado. And you can see the damage here from the outside of the home. The roof peeled up, blown up into the trees next door. In fact, those trees may have protected the home further up the hill from getting damage from flying debris. This is what the damage looks like from the outside. Now let's take a look from inside the home. Again, this is incredible damage, and what's even more incredible is the story surrounding this damage. As the tornado was coming up over the hill, there was a 9-year-old boy inside, outside a neighbor. They saw the tornado coming up over the hill, and they ran for cover inside. They jumped in the bathtub, and just as they hit the bathtub, the roof and the home around them went flying. Take a look at this video from viewer Donna Russell. She shared it with us on her Facebook page. It's a pale white-looking tornado as it crossed the Mississippi River. Technically, at that point, a waterspout, but very much a tornado as it moved over land, tracking rapidly from southwest to northeast. Now, we are in touch with the National Weather Service. They've already been on the ground here to do their storm survey. Here's what they have to say about both the timing of this storm, the unusual timing, and how this young man survived.
He got into the bathtub because they don't have a basement here, and he put as many walls and as many layers between him and the outside world as possible, and he's unscathed, thank goodness. If you look at the kind of distribution of when tornadoes occur, 11 a.m. is not high on the list.
Now, there are more storms just to the north of us and more storms possible this evening, but nothing of the variety or the intensity of what they experienced here in Pike County.
Right there, Chris is mentioning, hey, there's storms to the north of us, storms to the south of us. That was a forecast for St. Louis, but looking kind of at radar for us, I don't think we're going to have to really deal with any storms for today.
You know, at the top of this, we were talking about how we threaded the needle last night. We had severe weather literally knocking on the door. We had severe weather all the way up to I-49.
Yeah.
And then as soon as those storms moved east of I-49, they fell apart. There were many areas, Matt, east of Highway 65 that didn't get any rain. Got some gusty winds, but didn't get any rain out of this storm complex as it came through. And while the storm complex generated dangerous weather to our west last night, it helped generate a nice day locally for us today because it pushed a boundary through the area. It worked over the atmosphere and it prevented severe weather from developing today locally in our area. Meanwhile, that same system, the storm complex that developed last night, it developed its own area of low pressure and wind field. And then as that moved northeast and got into eastern Missouri this morning, and as temperatures started to climb ahead of it, instability started to climb ahead of it, storms started to fire. And because of that stronger wind field tied to that area of low pressure, there were quite a few tornadoes that touched down, and it's been an active day in Illinois, Indiana, and now that risk of severe weather is getting into Ohio.
Kind of the best case scenario for us, where we were going live about an hour or so before the storms even rolled into Missouri and Arkansas, because we wanted to watch how the scenario played out. We didn't know, are we going to get the worst case scenario? Are we going to get the best case scenario? And we honestly got the best case scenario, where
We did.
storms kind of lingered a little bit into the Ozarks, and it took the wind out of the sail for storm chances for today. It burned up all that fuel, all that instability. So kind of a quiet day, and then now we're done. That was our one chance of storms.
I think we're pretty much done. Yeah, like I said, looks like going into this evening, I mean, outside, because the true cold front is still located to our north. That's going to drop south through the area tonight, and near and ahead of it, there'll be a risk of some widely scattered shower and thunderstorm activity, but anything that might become severe will be only marginally severe, with maybe hail up to quarter size and some locally strong wind gusts. Not expecting any tornado risk going into the evening.
This is what you're tracking right now with that low pressure system, the cold front that starts to move down, clears out most of the storm risk. 7-day forecast is looking beautiful. I want to show this off because I know a lot of farmers are getting frustrated. They have fields that are ready to knock out some hay. Well, this is a forecast that's going to say have at it. Sunny and quiet for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It is going to be humid throughout that stretch. So that is something that's worth mentioning. Not expecting really any downpours of rain. This is your opportunity to cut, to dry, to bale all that hay, to get it up in the barn. It's just kind of sad that we're halfway past June and we're saying, well, you can do it now.
And Matt, you know, looking at our records, this is going to be the longest dry stretch since about the second week of May.
Okay.
Yeah, longest dry stretch since about the second week of May. This should give folks ample time to get those outdoor things done that they've needed to get done. That is also a pattern. Well, you're going to be surprised, you know, as waterlogged as the soils have been and remained, this time of the year, the sun does a pretty good job. That and all the vegetation does a pretty good job of sucking that moisture out of the soil, evaporating it out into the air, but the soils will dry out. And they're going to dry out, I think, pretty quickly over the next week.
Yeah, Drought Monitor you haven't even had to look at it the last 2 or 3 months. You already know it's going to say no concern of drought. And if we get these rain chances that continue to taper off, they continue to disappear, that may be a concern once we get later into the summer. That's what we're tracking right now. So we got lucky. We dodged those kind of tornado chances. This video, Jamie, it's beautiful. Beautiful and also intimidating at the same time. But really dodged the tornado chances for today. We're on to sunnier. We're on to quieter weather. So greener pastures up
Literally,
ahead.
I mean, everything is very, very green right now. And, you know, you're talking about the nicer weather. Hey, you know, a lot of folks, because of the stormy weather that we've had throughout the spring season, they just haven't really been able to take advantage of area lakes and rivers. This is a weekend where you definitely want to get out. The water's warmed up. The air temperatures are warming up. It's going to be humid. It feels like perfect weather to get out on the boat, do a little swimming in lakes, or do a little swimming in area rivers, or just do some floating.
Do a little backyard barbecue that we got going on tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. We're going to Shell Knob.
We're going to have fun. All right. See you guys there. We're getting out of here. Thanks for watching.